Fine. So we'll see the min-max planning method. So what does it mean by min-max planning method? So when you maintain the stock within the organization, say any item you can take, iPhone or MacBook, take any item example. So say these items you are going to maintain within the different organizations, say organization 1, organization 2, organization 3. Say these organizations are based out in the different locations. So when these organizations are based out in the different locations, based on the demand of the specific item in those locations, we have to maintain the stock within this organization. So if you take example of iPhone, based on the demand, you may have a plan of maintaining minimum 1,000 iPhones within the organization 1, and say you don't have capacity of maintaining the iPhones within the organization 1 not more than 10,000, because maybe the warehouse whatever you have that doesn't have a capacity of storing the items iPhones more than 10,000. Or else maybe you may think there won't be any need of keeping the stock more than 10,000. If you can maintain minimum 1,000, that's more than enough, but max up to 10,000, that always will become maximum, which may required within the specific organization 1 for the iPhone. The same item you may need within the organization 2 all the time. Minimum you require 5,000 and max maybe up to 20,000. If at all you require max based on the demand or different cases you may take based on how the transactions are happening with the respect with associated business unit for this organization too. By forecasting all that, by taking your experience, you may plan to maintain minimum 5,000, max 20. In the organization 3, the same item, the same iPhone, you may require minimum 100 and max maybe 500, because this is all about how you have a demand. Okay, how you have a demand, accordingly you can plan and you can maintain. When it comes to MacBook, the same way you can look at how much demand you have in the respective organization. When you say organization, definitely this organization will support to specific business unit. So this organization, every organization, it associates to specific business unit based on the respective transaction, or else it may be more into inventory related transactions only. It can be any scenario. It can be any scenario. So when you are dealing with any warehouse, how we require that quantities for the specific item that you can plan and you can maintain, that you can achieve by using the minimax planning method. That means for every item, for every organization, we are going to specify what is a minimum and what is a maximum. If you don't use this minimax planning method, what happens is all the time you have to go and verify, all the time you have to go and verify how much quantity we have in the each and every organization, then how much quantity you have to get into that specific organization. By maintaining this minimax planning system will make our job very easy. So once you do this minimax planning for each item for specific organizations, you can just run certain reports and you can run the process. Based on that, system will give the information what is the current available quantity, what should be the minimum. System will be recommending how much quantity of material we have to get into that inventory, or say we have to replenish into specific inventory, nothing but refilling. That system will give the recommendation, and the system will help us to automate the process of refilling the same material from the respective source. You may get material from other organization too, so one organization to another organization, for or from one sub inventory to other sub inventory, or directly maybe from supplier. So this all you will be able to manage if you go with a minimax planning. Here, if you want to maintain the minimum and maximum quantities for specific item for particular organization, yes, we can do it. Or else say within the inventory organization one, you have multiple sub inventories. So sub inventory one, sub inventory two. So you have multiple sub inventories within the organization one. If your requirement is you want to make sure that in each sub inventory how much minimum and maximum quantity levels you want to maintain, yes, that also we can achieve. Okay, irrespective of sub inventory, you can make a plan to maintain how much minimum quantity of iPhones you require in organization one, and what should be the maximum quantity you want to maintain for organization one, irrespective of sub inventory. Yes, that is possible. Or else you don't want to worry about how much minimum and maximum stock you have within this organization. Only always you focus on sub inventory level. That means your target may be in the sub inventory one. Always you want to have stock as minimum as 400, maximum as 1,000. Okay, in the same way, other sub inventories also maybe minimum 100, maximum 500. This is how you may have a planning at sub inventory level. So this minimax planning will support to specify or to set a rule how much minimum and maximum quantity you want to maintain for specific item for particular organization, or else for specific items sub inventory level, sub inventory wise how much minimum and maximum quantity you want to maintain, that also you can implement. Okay, so this is how just we can do that. So with a minimax planning, what we can achieve, we can make sure that as per our demand or as per the internal requirement, whatever the case you take, always you are going to maintain the required quantity. Okay, the required quantity, so that the inventory levels you will be able to manage as you need or as you as per demand. It's all about we have to make sure that the inventory levels means the quantity, inventory levels in the sense the quantity, how much quantity we require. Based on that you can make a plan, so that all the time you will be keeping stock available to support any scenario of the inventory transactions. So this is how it works. The point is we can implement this minimax planning organization level and sub inventory level. If you say organization level, we'll implement that minimax planning for item. The item is associated to which organization. For all those organizations, the minimax planning is applicable. If I just implement minimax planning for item, the item one item can be associated with the multiple organizations, so that automatically the same minimax planning uh, implementation will be applicable for all the organizations. If you set minimax planning for sub inventory, for which sub inventory you are implementing minimax planning, that would be limited to that sub inventory only. Okay, so these are the points we have to understand. In this session what we'll do is we'll see how to set up minmax planning at organization level, we'll see, and how to set up the same min-max planning at sub-inventory level. So first we'll see how to set up, how to get to know what is the minimum and the maximum, what based on min-max planning, we'll just get to know how much we have to refill into specific sub inventory or inventory organization. We'll go through those points. Once we're done with that, we'll execute the process. We'll go with some example, and we'll see how that refilling process will happen, how system will help us, since we are going to implement this minimax planning method at organization level or sub inventory level. We'll execute the process also. And the other point is, if you want to implement minimax planning, where if there is the minimax planning need to be, the quantities need to be refilled with the help of supplier supply, so that you can test only once purchasing application is ready. Okay, so now what we can do is we can test based on the demand. You will be getting the material from other organization or other sub inventory. With that example, we can go and test it. If you want to refill that material by purchasing from supplier, we have to get ready with the purchasing application. We are not started working with the purchasing. Once purchasing is ready, we will test that scenario also. For now, we'll see what is possible within the inventory to test and understand. Fine, done. Okay, now we'll see what setups we have to perform. First, we'll just go with this example: min max planning at organization. Okay, fine. So when I talk about min max planning at organization level, so reality, we don't set anything at organization level directly. Item and organization combination, we will set up this minimax planning. Okay, so now for which item you want to implement this minimax planning for specific organization, go to that item with the where the item is associated with the respective organization. Here in this process, what we can do is we'll go with a simple approach. We'll set up. Okay, let me write it otherwise. Here, first, before we go and verify, before we go and do set up this, we'll check on hand quantity availability, for how much we have on hand quantity availability. Based on that, we can make a plan and we can do it. First, we'll check on hand quantity and we'll make a note. So based on that, we can plan and we can set up the relevant information. After that, we can set up min max plan for item. It's an item, the item with the combination of organization. For specific organization, associated item will set it up. Then we can run the report, run min max planning report, so that system will shows the recommended quantity to maintain within that organization for specific item. This is just very basic for basic level understanding. Once we're done with that, we'll go with the process execution also. Not only just doing some setup and running the report, we'll execute the process where system will refill. Fine, done. So first we'll go and check on hand quantity availability, so that we can make a plan how much you want to keep as a minimum and do maximum. Go to inventory management. Under supply chain execution, we have a task called as inventory management. Go to task list, say manage item quantities. Select our inventory organization. So dollars inventory. Manage item quantities. For which item? Say iPhone. Select iPhone. Search. Now here we can see 3000 quantities available within this organization. If you expand, you can see the organization. Organization is dollars. Within the dollars warehouse, we have 3000 quantity. So that 3000 quantities available in which warehouse, which is sub inventory, iPhone sub inventory. Anyway, now we are not talking about setting up Minimax planning at sub inventory level. We are just going to work on organization level. That 3000 quantities available. Now we can make a plan for dollars inventory. So always we want to make sure that we want to maintain minimum quantity as a 5000 and maximum quantity as a 10,000. Done. So this is how we are going to make a plan. Always we have to make sure that minimum 5000 iPhones should be available in dollars warehouse irrespective of sub inventory, and we should not go more than 10,000 quantity within this warehouse. So whenever the quantity levels will come down to less than 5000, automatically system will recommend to refill with maximum of how much quantity is going down. I mean, compared to this 10,000. Say for example, this is a rule we defined. Now the quantity is now at this point of time the quantity is 3000. Since 3000 maximum, how much 3000 we have in the inventory organization. So minimum we want to maintain 5000. To maintain the minimum, how much we want to refill with the 2000. But whenever you work on this process, what system will do is always it will look at the maximum, okay, maximum quantity, and it will recommend 3000 quantity we have. Now system will recommend to refill with 7000. Whether you want to refill with 7000 or only with the 2000, since you want to maintain minimum 5000, that is up to us. We can take the decision. Okay, we'll see how it works. Fine. Now we are making the plan for this item. For the specific organization, we want to maintain minimum quantity 5000 and maximum quantity 10,000. Now we'll go and do this setup at item level for specific organization. Done. Go to item definition. Okay. Task is product information management. Go to task list. Say manage items. And find item. Search with the description. Description we given as iPhone. So this is a master organization. The same iPhone is associated with the two inventory organizations. So now we are going to implement this Minimax planning for dollars inventory, right? So now you can just click on that item which is associated with the dollars inventory. Go to specifications tab. Within these specifications, what we are trying to do, we are going to make a plan to maintain this item related stock levels. So go to planning section. Okay, here select inventory planning method. Which planning method you want to implement? So minimax planning. And which item this is, make item or buy item. Say buy item. We are not going to make this item through this manufacturing process. It is something like we buy and we maintain within our inventory. That's how we define the item. Also at the time of item definition, we just select a template, also purchased item template, so which enables the relevant attributes. Here you have to specify what is the minimum and maximum quantity you want to maintain for this item in the specific inventory, dollars inventory. So here, as we discussed, minimum 5,000, maximum 10,000. Max 10,000. Done. You can give the specifications and say save and close. Done. We updated for this dollars inventory. For dollars inventory, this item we want to maintain minimum 5,000 quantity, max 10,000 quantity. Done. Now you can simply go and run the report. You can go and run the report. It gives us the information, what is the current quantity we have, and what is the minimum and maximum we have to maintain, and what would be reordering or replenishment suggested quantity by system. That information you can see. We'll go and see that. We'll go and submit the report. Go to ESS job page. Nothing but scheduled processes. Click on schedule new process. Search for Minimax planning report. Search. Select and say OK. Say OK. Now specify the parameters. You are going to run this Minimax planning report for which organization. For dollars, how the report output should display, on what base. It has to display item wise. So within this inventory organization, for only one item only we implemented Minimax planning. And if you want to select the same item, you can select, or if you already implemented for multiple items, you can select the range of the items here. And planning level, what level you are going to do the planning. So we'll test later sub inventory. Now we are planning at organization level. That's what we did. Item level, you enable that minimax planning, means we are setting at organization level. With the combination of item and organization only we selected, and we specified that information. Okay, planning level you can give the organization. The rest of parameters all you can accept the defaults as is. Okay. Okay, done. This you can accept the default parameters, you can accept, submit. Now just we want to know what should be the refilling recommendation from the system within this organization for iPhone. That's all. And one more point here I forgot to include. Anyway, we submitted report. When you're running this report as a part of parameters, okay, as a part of parameters, here we have one key parameter called as restock. Okay, restock. If you set restock as a yes, what system will do is it will create automatically movement request. Already we tested for uh, material transfers and all. Okay, we created movement request and all. That would be created by system automatically. We'll see that how it works also when we are testing this sub-inventory level minimax planning. We'll go with this parameter and we can see the detailed process. If you set to yes, it will create the movement request with that recommended quantity. Now we didn't select it. It won't perform any, it won't create any transaction. Ideally it shows the report. That's all. So just click on this. Go to output options, select PDF. Scroll a little down. Now see system is showing for this item within that specific organization. This is what we specified. The minimum quantity is we require 5,000, maximum required is 10,000. But now on hand quantity availability is 3,000. So system is recommending reorder quantity as a 7,000. Okay. The restock, as a part of parameter, the restock, if you set to yes, with this 7,000, system will create the movement request. Then you have to perform the pick slip and you have to confirm it. Then automatically system will refill the quantity within this organization. We will see that process also, but just here try to understand this point. So we submitted report, system is showing based on our minimax planning. So maximum we require 10,000. So 3,000 only available. So system is giving the recommendation you have to refill with 7,000. Finally, we can take the decision. So this is system information. System is recommending since maximum 10, only we have 3. So you may just fill with the 5,000 or 3,000 or 2,000, but you have to make sure that so you are focusing on minimum quantities also. You have a 3, system is recommending 7. You may just get only 2 quantities so that you can meet the minimum quantity levels. But if you want to go up to maximum, yes, you can fill with the 7,000. How you want to get into the organization and all, you can see there are different options. Okay, this is how you can run the report. Now we'll see how to set at sub inventory level and we'll execute the process also. Okay, how we'll execute the process by selecting that parameter. You can set to yes, then it will create the movement request and will perform the pick slip and will confirm it, and automatically system will update the quantities and it will perform the transactions also. We'll go through that complete process. Okay.
Lakshman, when it will be created? Purchase requisition then?
No. If that is a different thing, that will be testing, because in that case it has to be you have to go with a source as a supplier. We'll see that. That's what I mentioned before we get into this discussion. So now within the inventory, what we can do that we are going to do it. Within the inventory means you can get the material from other organization or other sub inventory. These are possible. Now I'm going to show the process how you can move the material from one inventory to other inventory based on your minimax planning. Okay. So once we are ready with the purchasing application, I'll show you that process. Okay. I'll show you that process. Now purchasing is not ready, right? Only we are working on inventory. So that we can execute. Fine. Okay. Now we'll see how to set up this minimax planning at sub inventory level. Say minimax planning at sub inventory. Here we'll see the execution also. But once purchasing is ready, we'll see at organization level also how that requisition can be raised and how we can work on it via purchase requisition. Just within the sub inventory, within the organization, within sub inventory, we don't no need to depend on purchasing, so that we can see directly here itself. That now to test this, what we can do is we have to assign item to sub inventory. Okay, if you want to test this minimax planning, we have to assign item to sub inventory for minimax planning to specify the minimax planning parameters. So after that, okay, for which item you want to implement minimax planning at sub inventory level, that item you have to assign to respective sub inventory. So after that, we can run this same minimax planning report, so that it gives the information that item, what are the minimax planning we are going to set. Okay, that item, what is the current quantity, what should be the minimum and maximum, what is the reorder quantity system is going to recommend, that system will display. We'll go and run min-max planning report. Okay, we'll run the minimax planning report. Okay, when you're running the minimax planning report, we will select the parameter as restock. If you select restock, with the recommended quantity, system will create the movement request. Okay, so say based on the parameter, if you don't select parameter, it just gives a report information only, that's all. Say system creates, before that we'll go with a simple example. So assign item to sub inventory. Say we assign item to sub inventory. So we'll take the same example. So within the iPhone, item is iPhone, our sub inventory name also iPhone only. The iPhone sub inventory, so we are assigning, say we'll take the case assign, or say the iPhone, we have 3000 quantity, right? Just now we have seen. Okay, iPhone we have 3000 quantity. Where we have that iPhone 3000 quantity? In iPhone sub inventory. Sub inventory name also iPhone. 3000 quantity we have in iPhone sub inventory. Done. Now if you run the minimax planning, and before you go and set minimax planning sub inventory level, say we are going to set up so already we have 3000, right? So we are going to specify the minimum quantity is 4000 and maximum quantity is 8000. So this is what we are going to specify at sub inventory level for iPhones. In iPhone sub inventory, we want to make sure that we want to maintain this quantity levels for iPhone item. Okay, 4000 and 8000. Whenever you run this minimax planning, what system will do is it will identify 3000 quantities available in iPhone sub inventory, but this is a plan we have, and what it will do, it will recommend us to fill the inventory with how much quantity? Max 8000. Already we have 3000, so it will recommend us to fill with 5000 quantity. Whether you will fill with 5000 or less than, that is up to us. Okay, so minimum 4000, maximum 8000. Already we have 3000 quantity, it will recommend us to fill with 5000 quantity. So when you are running this minimax planning report, if you select the parameter called as restore, what it will do is, with this 5000, system will create movement request. Okay, system will create movement request. System creates movement request. If you select that parameter, you don't select that parameter, in that case you have to do it through manual process. Let system automate it. Okay, it will create the movement request for 5000 quantity. Again, this 5000 quantity we are going to get from where and all, we'll see here. Here we have a source selection, so based on that it will work. We'll discuss those points, but just as a process, let's talk on this. So system will create the movement request with 5000 quantity. So then what we can do is, we can go and perform the pick slip confirmation. Before that, we can just we can print that movement request pick slip report also will run, so that we can see whether pick slip system is generating the pick slip or not for this movement request. So system will create the movement request. After that, you have to run the movement request pick slip report. Say run. Okay, these and all we did when we are working on the inventory transactions. Okay, the same process is applicable in case of this minimax planning also, to refill. You can take the point as movement request pick slip report. Okay, we'll go and run the movement request pick slip report, so that it will just give that pick slip number and all, so that we can get a confirmation as that it generated. Then we'll go and confirm the same. You can say confirm pick slip. Okay, so this pick slip will do the real activity of moving the material into iPhone sub inventory from targeted sub inventory. Okay, done. So then that's how you can go and confirm. After that, you can go and verify the status of a movement request. Okay, or else let me write it. Check movement request status. Once you perform this action, it will update the status as a delivered. The same we can see as a result of on hand quantity and transaction also. After that, we can go and check on hand quantity for the specific item within that sub inventory. And in this process, system will just do the sub inventory transfer. That means we are dealing with the sub inventory level. So the source also, if you are going to deal with the sub inventory, it will create the sub inventory transaction that you can see as a part of completed transactions also. We'll just go and do review completed transactions. Then we can understand which transaction, how it is reducing in one sub inventory, how it is refilling other sub inventory. We'll get to know those points. Fine. So now we'll go with the iPhone sub inventory only. Now what you can do is, go to sub inventory. Here task list. What is the first task? First step, assign item to sub inventory. Okay, for which item you want to implement minimax planning at sub inventory level, assign that item to sub inventory. Just click on go to task icon. Okay, here is our iPhone sub inventory. You select our iPhone sub inventory. Sub inventory name is iPhone. Within this sub inventory, what we are storing? iPhones only. So select it. To this sub inventory, we want to assign the item. Here we have a tab called as manage item sub inventories. Just click on this so that we can assign iPhone item to iPhone sub inventory. Okay, click on add. So to this iPhone sub inventory, which item you want to assign? iPhone only. Okay, we assigned. Why we are assigning? Just you may just assign to so that you will be able to access those items from that sub inventory. But now we are assigning to implement minimax planning. Without assigning, you cannot implement for sub inventory level minimax planning for any item. So enable minimax planning. And as we discussed, let's input these values: minimum 4,000, maximum 8,000. We know what is the current quantity, right? 4,000, 8,000. Okay. When you now, if you go and run the minimax planning report, it gives us information saying that 5,000 is recommended quantity. Then how you are going to get the 5,000 on hand 5,000 recommended quantity into your iPhone sub inventory based on your planning method? So that you can specify here. Sourcing, how you want to get. Okay, you may get from other organization or from supplier and sub inventory. Okay, so the supplier we can see when we are once we implement purchasing application. Along with that, we'll see how to source from the organization also. Now we'll see sub inventory level. Okay, sub inventory level. So we selected sub inventory, and now you can select from which sub inventory. So we'll go with the MacBook. Reality, it's a different sub inventory, and there we are maintaining the MacBooks only. Mm, fine. So we don't have stock in this, right? Okay, what we'll do is, so we don't have iPhones in the other sub inventory. So better what we can do is we'll create one more sub inventory and we'll test it then better. I'm just canceling this because we have in only one sub inventory these iPhones. Let's create one more. Sub inventory name I am giving as iPhone 2 sub inventory. Okay, let's implement iPhone 2 sub inventory minimax planning so that we'll be able to get the stock from this iPhone sub inventory. Now the example what we taken, that won't be applicable. Now the case is within that iPhone 2 sub inventory we have zero on hand quantity. Now if you just make this minimax planning condition planning as a minimum 4,000, maximum 8,000, it will give the recommendation as a to get 8,000. But again we don't have more than 3,000 quantity within that, so again it will go negative quantities. Better what we can do is say minimum 1,000, maximum 2,000. Now system will give the recommendation, no quantity we have in this new sub inventory, it will give the recommendation to fill with 2,000 quantity. We'll go with this example. Select this iPhone 2 sub inventory and go to manage item sub inventories and click on add, assign iPhone item. assign iPhone to this sub inventory, enable minimax planning. So we want to maintain minimum 1000 maximum 2000 within this sub inventory. 1000 2000. And if any need of refilling the quantity, so what we have to do, we want to get from other sub inventory. If you want to get from other sub inventory, from which sub inventory? We have iPhone sub inventory. Give the specifications, say save and close. This is how we have to do the setup. We're done with that. We assigned item to sub inventory. Now we'll go and run the min-max planning report. One second. Yep. So go to schedule processes. So print min-max planning report. Select your organization, dollars. How the report should display the information, sort by item wise. And planning level, what level we are doing this minimax planning? Yes, sub inventory level. Okay. If you want to select which sub inventory, yes, you can select, but not required, not mandatory. If you select this parameter restock yes, then it will create the movement request also. Otherwise, it will create just report only. Let's select restock as a yes, so that it will create the movement request for the quantities, how much we have to refill as per our minimax planning. Done. Say submit. Fine. Select this report and go to output section. And check the output. So here what we discussed, within the current sub inventory, no stock available, right? We create a new sub inventory. For the new sub inventory only, we implemented minimax planning, and we given the condition as minimum 1000, maximum 2000. Now it will recommend to have 2000. So minimum 1000, maximum 2000, no on hand quantities available. Reason, that is a new sub inventory which we created as a part of setups, and reorder quantities 2000. Since we selected restock as yes, the parameter, with this 2000 to refill that sub inventory with the 2000, it will you can system creates movement request that we can go and find it. Okay, so we submitted with the respective parameter selection as yes. Now system creates movement request to refill, to transfer the material from iPhone sub inventory to iPhone sub inventory, iPhone sub inventory, iPhone to sub inventory to iPhone sub inventory. That's what we specified. Now go and find movement request. Go to inventory management. Go to manage movement requests. here you can search with your item iPhone, right? For iPhone item, any movement request is created. You can see here. It should create because we selected restock as yes. There should be movement request with 2000 quantity, right? The same we have seen in the report. See, requested quantity 2000. So pre-approved, created by arbitrary, and this is a movement request number. Just make a note of this number. This is a movement request number. You can just click on this number and you can see the same information in the document format. Okay, so movement request type is replenishment. Done. Now it is just proposed transaction. This is just request. The request you have to turn into the actual action of moving the quantity from iPhone 2 to iPhone 700 to iPhone 2 700. Now what we have to do is we have to go and perform pick slip. Okay, we can run the report. We'll run the report and it will create the pick slip number and all. We'll see that first. Then we can confirm the same. So this is also will give the kind of recommendation. I mean, based on that movement request, it will create the pick slip number and all. With that reference of number and all, we'll be able to perform pick slip activity. Okay, we'll just go and run the pick slip report. Go to schedule process. Search for the report called as movement request pick slip report. It shows the recommendation, that's all. Okay, how much need to be picked and for which organization, dollars. If you want to run with the open criteria, yes, you can do it, or else you can specify your movement request number. This is the number, right? And here specify this parameter. These approved lines. Yes, our movement request is pre-approved. So say to the system, what are the movement requests which are approved, release them. Say yes, set this parameter to yes. Click on submit. It will release the movement request related lines for picking purpose. Done. Select this report, scroll little down. Here you can see the output file. Click on republish. It's not responding. Refresh. Click on this default document. It's not generated anything. Yep. So this is our movement request, right? and it created pick slip. So system performed the picking also. This number also you can maintain here. This is the picking number, and here you could see the detailed information. Pick status is open because confirmation is not done. The item, which item? iPhone. And source sub inventory is iPhone. Destination sub inventory is iPhone 2. These are the two sub inventory names. That means we are going to fill this iPhone 2 sub inventory by getting the material from iPhone. How much quantity? 200 quantity. Based on our minimax planning, this is what we are going to do. And when you confirm and all, you can just, you can refill, you can go and confirm that, saying that yes, we want to refill with the 2000 or else only 1000. How you want to execute, you can do it. That. Now we can go on to perform the pick slip confirmation. Okay, we'll go and confirm it. Go to inventory management. Inventory management. So here also you can see one pick is open. You can do from here directly, or else go to task list. And here we have a task called as confirm pick slips. So we have pick slip number we have, and movement request number we have. With any one of the number you can find the record. Pick slip number is this. Search. Fine. So this is a pick slip number, and pix 1 is open, total nothing is confirmed. Now we are going to confirm only. Click on this pick slip number, and say ready to confirm. Enable the checkbox, and requested quantity is 2000. How much you are really going to pick from iPhone sub inventory, and you are going to fill iPhone 2 sub inventory? 200, 2000, or maybe 1000. Why maybe 1000? Minimum quantity is required 1000, maximum 2000. Now system is recommending 2000. Minimum 1000 would be enough, right? Even you can pick only 1000 also. That also will work. Source sub inventory, from which sub inventory you are getting. This is what we specified as a part of sub inventory level minimax planning setup, right? So from this sub inventory, we are going to pick 2000 quantity, okay, to fill iPhone 2 sub inventory. That. So now you can say confirm. Okay, confirmed. Cancel means close. Then picking is done. Now go to the movement request and verify the status. Go to manage movement request. Now you have a movement request number. You can search with this. So against this movement request, picking is done, and pick slip confirmation also is done. Why it is not showing? Maybe some just gap within that whatever I pasted here. Let's search with the item. Say search. So now you can notice earlier we could see only requested quantity 2000, now delivered quantity also 2000. The line status is closed because it's delivered. We done the pick slip confirmation also. Done. So now we'll go and verify the on hand quantities. Go to manage item quantities. Within this inventory organization only we have that sub inventory, right? So here this is the iPhone item, or else what we can do is we can search for only iPhone related quantities. If you notice here, iPhone sub inventory earlier we have 2000 quantity. Now with the Minimax planning, what we did, we transfer from iPhone sub inventory to iPhone 2 sub inventory. See now iPhone 2 sub inventory, we refilled with the 2000 and we transferred from here to here. The same system has to create the transactions also. If you go to completed transaction, system shows for iPhone sub inventory minus 2000, that means it's reduced, and it will be showing the same is added to iPhone 2 sub inventory. So this is the same we tested in case of sub inventory transfer, right? The same process we followed, but that execution we are doing based on Minimax planning requirement. Right? We'll go and check completed transactions. See, review completed transactions. We just select our item, iPhone. So between dates, I'll take past date to till today date. This is cycle count which we performed in previous sessions. Okay, so this is what system is showing. Here we have a transaction source type also. 1 second. Yeah. So movement request. Through movement request it happened. So for iPhone sub inventory, 2000 quantities reduced. With the help of movement request got created, and the iPhone 2 that got refilled, that happened through movement request. This is a movement request number, right? Okay, 201838. 201838. So this is how we can do it. Okay, so once we implement purchasing application, at that time how to do this sourcing from supplier, and the same time we'll test organization level also how to do it. Now we tested sub inventory level. So this is what we have to understand about Minimax planning. Don't think that topic we completed, but within the inventory what we can do it, just to understand organization level how it happens. In case of sub inventory level, if you want to execute how it can be done, we have seen. But how system will create the requisition automatically based on this Minimax planning, and how that can be executed, again how that can be performed at organization level, those scenarios also will be testing, but not now. Once we are ready with the purchasing, we can work on it. Okay, so this is all about Minimax planning.
Lakshman, I have a question on this.
Please.
Can we enable the within sub inventory? Like, is there any way for the Minimax planning that on the receiving side, someone, if they want to receive it, like, this kind of handshake process, can we enable that?
No, I didn't get you.
So this is like, let's say if I'm shipping something in this case, right? On my side, I will be transacting more orders, right? But on the other side, if the other person, he wants to complete some receiving activity before the item, the on-end is transferred from, let's say, iPhone to iPhone 2 sub inventory. Okay. Is it possible?
See, we are moving. We are simply the background based on the scenario of this minimax planning, we are doing the sub-inventory transfer in the current example, right?
Yeah, yeah.
By creating the movement request, we are doing, even when we tested sub-inventory transfers also, we followed the same process, right? Creating the movement request and conforming. The same we did. Here the background is Minimax, the requirement based on Minimax. Minimax is saying this is what you have to refill. That is the reason we are doing. In case of a direct sub-unit transfer, by taking some requirement, we need quantity, we did it. Here the input is from Minimax. That's it. No difference.
Okay, okay. But ultimately, like, so we are not getting any confirmation. Let's say if sub inventory is not at the same physically, if it's not located at the same warehouse,
No, no,
then
no. See, that
in
will
that
become intra-organizations, right? That is a
case,
different. This is sub-inventory transfers
it's
means that will happen within. When you want to move to other sub-inventory, you don't need to point other sub-inventory. You have to say to other organization. Okay. If you want,
so the use case in this case will be, let's say I have a field organization, because obviously, let's say if I have small pockets in the field, I don't want to maintain 500 organizations, right? So in that case, usually we create one field organization, and all the small hubs, or small shops, we can consider those as
yeah, in that
sub-inventories,
case,
right?
you may have that segregation as maybe locators and all, right? If you don't want to go with the sub-inventory concept, the segregation, you should be able to address the physical structure in the system, right? So you may not have all those, so you can go with a locator also. So the locator will be able to manage that segregation of your physical structure of warehouse. Okay, that's all about when we bring that client kind of
Hey, Lakshman.
yeah.
Lakshman, quick question. If we do the inter-organization, does it create the intercompany transactions and all? Can we do the same way using this
Yeah, we'll do it.
functionality?
We'll do it. Organization level we have, right? Organization level from one inventory to another inventory. Okay, in that case we'll do it. Now we have a different level. Organization level we can do, sub-inventory level we can do, and based on the source called as a supplier. Now we tested only sub-inventory. We'll be testing organization level also, from one organization to another organization, moving the material.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. That will do along with the source as a supplier, where system will raise the requisition. It will turn into purchase order, and will receive the material. That's how we'll be refilling. Okay.
You mean IRISO process?
Yeah. No. This I am talking about within the organization. That is, if you are going to if you are, this is not kind of internal requisition. It's a normal requisition only within the organization, which we create to get the material from the supplier. That also will do internal. Internal sales order, IRS, ISO. Those will be working on it, but that's totally different.
My question is, does this generates the IRISO process, this min-max, if we do the organization level setup?
No. Organization level, no. That is within your organizations. Okay.
Okay,
However, you create through manual requisition. Instead of creating manual requisition, system will generate. That's it. Yeah, that's how it works.
Then Lakshman, a question.
Yeah.
Internal requisition also recommends, right? If you say source has inventory,
Sorry?
other inventory, if you choose source as, when you are talking about min-max planning between the organization, source has different organizations, so it will create internal requisition, right?
See, we performed transfers, right? In our previous sessions, we performed the organization transfers. Let me show you. So that organization means here inter-organization transfers, right? We did inter-organization transfers, right? That also you can the same process you can execute based on this minimax planning inputs. That's all.
Okay, question. When it will give you the output for min-max planning, or as internal requisition?
As
That's all my question.
as internal
Requisition.
internal requisition.
Yes.
No, I didn't get when it will give the output in the sense. I mean, you mean?
Minmax planning output. Now it is movement request, right, for this setup.
Yes.
So what kind of setup will give you
We'll
when
see.
you run?
We will be executing those all the cases. I'll just detail level. I'll explain and we'll do it. Okay. Organization level how it works and what are the different options we have. Supplier level that is straight away process. We'll do all those things. So now just you can take these points subunit level how we can do it. I'll show you all
Okay.
the possible options in which option what setups we have to do and how the process can be executed. We'll discuss more detail level. Otherwise, without discussing, if you have some specific questions, again jumping into that and trying to understand maybe a little bit difficult. Okay. So we are not going to close this concept minimax planning. Just consider as half of done. The rest we'll do along with the purchasing. So there, if you have any sort of questions after discussing what we have to understand, then I'm ready to take any sort of questions.
Okay. Thank you.
We both can discuss for others. It may be good information, may not be, right? So once we are working on the relevant topic, yes, we can go with all the possible options, which is possible within the application, what reality works, and if any limitations within the system, those points also we can discuss. We'll do that. Fine. So I'm not going to mark it as done. Okay, we'll see that. We'll keep it open. So that's all for today. Any questions on today's session, please? If no questions, we can connect tomorrow and we can continue from here.